And I welcome you today to CSC Talk Radio. It's my honor, my privilege, and my pleasure to be here with you today. You know, I've been looking at Alexis Day talk votes, quotes, whatever, and several others that, you know, they hit me. I don't know how else to say it. They hit me. And this one was, when the past no longer illuminates the future, the spirit walks in darkness. He also said democracy extends the sphere of individual freedom. Socialism restricts it. Democracy attaches all possible value to each man. Socialism makes each man a mere agent, a mere number. Democracy and socialism have nothing in common but one word: equality. Democracy and socialism have nothing in common. But you notice that the difference between the equality, while democracy seeks equality and liberty, socialism seeks equality in restraint and servitude. There were more elections yesterday across this nation. There was big elections in primaries in Florida and Arizona. It's interesting that we see the battle coming, and it's coming down between socialism versus whatever it is we're pretending to be governed by today. The interesting thing that the socialists are led by so-called minorities who claim to have been oppressed in the land of capitalism and racism. And I would think that they would see that socialism is another form of oppression, another form of slavery, and even starvation. It's certainly not freedom. It's certainly not a governance of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, property, or prosperity. Could it be that they've fallen for a basket of lies from politicians on every front? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has a beautiful name, but when it comes to government, she's as dumb as a box of rocks. She doesn't understand what liberty is. She doesn't understand what the Constitution means, and she doesn't really even understand socialism, which she esteems and pushes. We can blame the politicians all we want. They deserve it. They are corrupt, but they are only in positions, occupying offices and cutting deals, because we continue to put them there. The promise, they promise, the voters, this and that and this. And we stand there as voters and say, gimme, gimme, gimme. Now, here's another quote. Now, this is coming from, in fact, part of it you're going to recognize because I have read it to you a long time, and it is in my quotes that I have. It was listed as unknown. The author was unknown, but here we have found out, and I will give Rudy credit for that because he did the research on it. Alexander Fraser Tytler, who is he's passed away obviously, Lord of Woodhouseley. A democracy cannot exist as a permanent form of government. It can only exist until the voters discover that they can vote themselves largest from the public treasury. From that moment on, the majority always votes for the candidates promising the most benefits from the public treasury, with the result that a democracy always collapses over loose fiscal policy, always followed by a dictatorship. The average age of the world's greatest civilizations has been 200 years. The nations have progressed through this sequence, from bondage to spiritual faith, from spiritual faith to great courage, from courage to liberty, from liberty to abundance, from abundance to selfishness, from selfishness to apathy, from apathy to dependence, from dependence back to bondage. We could vote better, couldn't we? Alexis Day Tocqueville, and I shared this quote with you yesterday. I do not know if the people of the United States would vote for superior men if they ran for office, but there can be no doubt that such men do not run. Even back then when you stop and think about it, this is a call to action. That's how I hear it. And a reminder that only you can prevent corruption in D.C. Earlier this week, I shared the truth of socialism scam. I'm sorry, socialism, not socialism, Social Security scam. And I want to look at that again today because we have a special guest today. It is Melody Cedarstrom of Discount Gold and Silver Trading.